So children, this is exactly why you need to stay away from drugs. You can end up like Stingray. Okay? Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka Geek XX Chic, and we are back, guys, with Cobra Kai, one of my favorite shows ever, based on one of my favorite movies ever, The Karate Kid. Very excited that we have our season, and yes, I believe I heard this is going to be our final season. Pretty sure that's what I heard, which is bittersweet. Obviously, I like this show and I could continue to watch it, but I do think we're getting to a point where the story we're trying to tell is coming to a good, it's coming to a culmination point. So, as I said, bittersweet. We'd love to see more, but I understand why we're ending it here. I'm hoping we just have a good time with these final episodes. So it looks like we only have 5 versus our normal 10. Well, we had 10 in the previous seasons, right? Yeah, so I'm a little surprised it's a shorter season, but I'm sure there's a lot of reasons for that. I know that there was definitely some stuff with the vid that interfered with some of the filming, as well as Sholo getting the greatest opportunity ever of being in a DC movie and things like that. So I think there was a few things that interfere with the filming schedule. But yeah, anyways, I'm still grateful for what we've got, and I'm hoping that they can just wrap up this beautiful series in a fun bow that all of us will be happy with. So. But anyways, I'm excited to jump into this. I've talked enough. Let's do that. But just before I do, if you are new here, welcome. Thank you so much for coming. If you'd like to be in the know of when I drop episodes to this or anything else you might be reacting of mine, please go ahead, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. That way you will be in the know. All right, that out of the way, let's get into episode 1, which is called Peacetime in the Valley right now.
Need what your dojo has to offer. And yours. May the best dojo
My
win.
gosh, how did I forget about poor little Kenny turning into a demon? I completely forgot about our little boy Kenny, who started out so sweet and turned into a little demon. Children. They will take food right out of your mouths. Sir? Hi, good morning. Did we not wear pants in this house? Alrighty. I'm not mad at it. I mean, you can walk around my house without pants, but I'm just saying, like, they're married, although maybe a little something else going on there. Daniel, you freak. Don't smile, Daniel. Oh, petty. But no, really, that was Kreese's dream. The broken snake. Very good symbolism.
This is what happens when you take down Terry Silver. When I did it back in '85, we got like 30 years apiece.
Calm down, Daniel.
Unless he finds a way to get the charges right.
Hey, his reputation is ruined.
He's
no
rich.
one's gonna fight for that guy.
He's very, very rich, Daniel. That means nothing.
Amanda, we won.
Oh, Daniel, you went and jinxed it. Why would you say that? After 3 movies and 6 seasons?
Karate is gonna be our rest of our lives kind of thing.
Don't worry.
Yeah, I mean, it's
after
part
this
of Daniel's
tournament,
life. Always has been.
Oh.
this tournament is my karate swan song.
Is it?
And what better way to go out than by sharing Mr. Miyagi's wisdom with the world?
I just don't think that's true, Daniel. As much as you're a good car salesman, I feel like you should give the dealership to your wife and then just be a full-time sensei.
At the end of the day, people are gonna have to decide if they want to learn karate from a car salesman or an actual sensei.
Still, really? I thought we got past this.
Now we're all one big karate family.
Yeah.
It took a while for you and me to figure our shit out, but we got there.
It's a little different, though.
You got any lighter fluid? Came up with a new lesson on the drive over. Call it out of the frying pan into the fire. So I'm gonna need a frying pan, too.
No.
God.
I thought we could just do yours tomorrow. Maybe after you run it by me first.
Right?
Since when do I run shit by you?
Since it might burn down the house.
Yeah, so you didn't even have an answer. He's like, you're right, it might.
If Elon Valley is March Madness, this is the Olympics, plus the Gladiator Games and the Kumite from Bloodsport all rolled into one.
Bloodsport's a great movie. Y'all really need to watch it if you haven't. It's very campy 80s, but it's great.
Miyagi Fang Karate!
No, man! Why would you do that to Mr. Miyagi?
We're not using that logo.
Yeah, I don't think it's a good idea.
I'm not gonna stain his legacy by turning him into some karate
Thank
vampire.
you.
All right, don't
He has so many stoic poses.
Eagle Fang has beak with teeth and no place to train.
Ooh!
Miyagi-Do is
Shots
a woman's
fired for no reason.
The two of you fighting isn't gonna solve this.
Fight is exactly how it's solved.
These are the two bullies you've had to fight in the past, Daniel. This is their language.
Or have I not been here long enough to kick your ass?
No one is fighting. Okay,
Come
we need to focus
on.
on the kids. Come on.
Come
Kids will
on,
never
they're
fight.
both hot. Let's do it.
I don't know what we are, but we're not double daters.
Exactly.
Whose idea was this?
It was Miguel's idea.
Oh!
Thought it might help you guys stop avoiding each other.
I'm not avoiding her.
She should be. Speaking of awkward combos,
He needs to know there's another way besides the shit that Silver was feeding him.
I think he knows that. He did leave Silver.
My call
but-
straight to voicemail.
Is there literally only one place to hang out in all of California?
But after all I put into Eagle Fang, I'm not giving up without a fight. You want someone to back out?
Fair enough.
Talk to him.
Always the bright spot of my day.
He must be, because you keep taking his business. That thing looks like the most it's gonna give Chosen is tetanus, sir.
What about you, Tori?
Oh.
Kind of hard to get in anywhere when you spend almost a year on probation.
Well, whose fault is that? Right. Consequences for actions. Learn. Sorry, guys. If you're new here, I'm not a Tori fan. I probably never will be. I just feel like the show's kind of glossed over a lot of her stuff, personally, but that's me. That was a throwback to the movie, by the way. Daniel did the same thing with Allie.
Hang on, man.
Whoa.
Hang on, please. There's still
Look how
time
tall
to let
Kenny
all
is
that
getting.
bullshit
This is
go
crazy.
and
He
join
was literally looking up to this actor when he started.
And I really think with the right mentors...
He doesn't need your mentors.
Oh, bro's out of
Sean.
jail. Great.
I made some mistakes. But I'm trying to make it up to him now.
Yeah, Rashad. Now you're gonna leave him be. Otherwise, me and you gonna have a problem. Got
Really?
it?
You want to go right back into juvie?
It's Kenny's brother. Met in juvie. Huh. He told me to leave Kenny alone.
You're not going to listen to him, though, right?
Do whatever you need to do. I'll have your back.
This is a family matter. I'm not saying you shouldn't still try to talk to Kenny. Kenny is old enough to make his own decisions, but I don't like this whole you can't listen to his brother thing. Like, it's a family matter.
Strength and body. Strength and resolve.
Again, a throwback to Karate Kid 2.
Never doubt either.
You been drinking again?
No more drink.
Personal?
Those senses caused me fight against Silver.
Is that what this is about? But still, it left you with 80 stitches in your back.
Silver gonna pay for that.
You could use a break.
Stitch by stitch.
I called Kumiko. Drunk.
Ooh.
A message. Pour my heart out.
Never do that. Never do that.
No call back.
No, Chosen, I'm sorry. There must be some explanation for that.
Yeah, maybe you didn't want to
Explanation
respond to a
is
drunk call.
Legacy of Miyagi-Do. That is all I have left.
Ooh. He still got it. He still got it.
And what is that way?
What the hell?
I can't hear you.
Stingray?
Where are these children's parents?
Taking back Cobra Kai.
So, children, this is exactly why you need to stay away from drugs. You can end up like Stingray. Okay?
Great. Yeah, there he is. Got room for one more?
No!
He holds on to this anger. It's gonna boil over. Do you really want him to end up where we did?
Not your concern. You understand?
That's family.
That's not me anymore. Don't want to fight.
Sean, just go. Come on.
Yeah, let's... No, do not go back to jail, bro! That's right, that's his brother. What are you doing? Great, now it's gonna look like you're bullying his brother.
We said we don't want to fight.
You say that, but then when he said he wants to leave, y'all came and continued to harass them. Come on now.
Out of my way, Nichols. I don't want to hit a girl.
That's sweet. But
Sexist. This is so unnecessary, and it's not fair.
we're just trying to help you, Kenny.
By harassing my family?
No, I'm not going anywhere. Yes, you are. Security's coming. We're done.
What did that accomplish? What exactly did that accomplish? What was the purpose of all of that?
That could have gone better.
You think?
All I had to do was wallpaper West Valley Elementary.
That picture of Johnny.
Yeah, sorry, I pulled that from your Facebook.
Oh, Billy Zabka, you are a fine man.
But they can't bring anything to the table that you don't already know. You're the sensei, not the student. He's a car lot
Excuse
guy.
me,
You're
any
Johnny
good
Lawrence.
karate practicer always learns. Anyways, if Johnny wants to do his own thing, then so be it.
Since when do you talk like that? Since I learned what the world was really like. Oh, yeah?
Really? You know what the world's like? Hmm.
He teach you all that aggro bullshit I saw back there, too? It's not bullshit. It's the way of the fish.
He's like, what? Huh?
That has got to be the dumbest
Thank
shit I've ever heard.
you. He learned something in juvie.
I saw that look in your eyes, Kay. I know that look.
That's what got me to
It's the
juvie.
same one that landed me in juvie. You keep going down this road, that's where you'll end up, too.
And you're black.
And maybe give Keen another shot, too.
Respect
Becoming a
him.
man now, okay? It's time for you to decide the kind of man that you want to be. The kind of man you want Dad to come home to after his tour.
Ooh, with the personal shot. Good one.
I don't even know who I am. Hey, it's okay, man.
I'm glad Kenny has his brother, though, since his parents are, like, never around. And this is why I said Robbie didn't need to get involved. Like, they need to work their own stuff out.
Oh, great.
Ooh, Chosen's outfit. So traditional. Je like.
Mr. Miyagi never cared about tournaments or his legacy.
Very
He
true.
cared about teaching karate the right way. And we can honor that.
Right, he didn't even want to have a Miyagi, though. That just had to happen.
I concede.
What, you're backing down?
No, I'm conceding there's a difference.
That's...
Look, I thought a lot about it. Cobra Kai is John Kreese's legacy.
Thank you.
I don't want anything to do with that asshole ever again.
I was going to say.
Plus, working with you guys made me a better sensei.
Oh, Johnny, you've grown so much.
Let's make sure it's your sensei's legacy who lives on.
This growth.
Miyagi-Do's lucky to have you, Johnny.
Oosh.
Yosh. Oh, a bow. A bow? That's not in a ring?
I'm just personally glad you guys aren't gonna fight.
Who said we're not?
What do you mean? We're still fighting.
Wait, what? Why?
Because we can.
Why not?
Right? Are you forgetting who you used to battle, Daniel? They like fighting. That's literally what they do for fun. He's so tall. I can't. He grew so much.
But it's a new Miyagi-Do. The strongest.
And y'all are
ever
two
been.
nerds, so you really should be besties. Although I still think Daniel's son deserved a little bit more too.
One dojo.
And a brand new patch.
I mean, the Miyagi-Do logo is
your
the
asses
best. Let's
ready.
be real. That tree, that bonsai tree. Uh-oh. What's going on in the dark? The real cult. The real cult.
Tell Kim Dayu that Cobra Kai is back.
All right. And if we're speaking Korean, Annyeong. Annyeong. Kajima. All right. Well, that was our premiere episode, and it was all about our group finally kind of erasing the final lines of 3 different practices coming together And I'm glad that I say 3 just because, Chosen's in there, even though he's kind of technically Miyagi-Do, but he does have a kind of his own spin on that and his own way of implementing it. So that, of course, was more to do with the senseis, but as the students, it was more Miyagi-Do versus, well, actually, no, because even there was Kreese's version of Cobra Kai too. So there really was 3 disciplines that had to kind of cross those final lines of division so that they could get to a place where everyone can actually work together and get past a lot of the stuff that they've been dealing with since, for some of them, season 1, and actually come together now that they need to. And I just thought that it was a really good, the idea around, because this whole series is called Cobra Kai, right? Because of Johnny's story and how much Cobra Kai meant to him. But I really like that the theme of this episode was about what does Cobra Kai actually mean? What's in the name, right? So of course they were saying, should we merge it? Does it become Eagle Fang Do or Miyagi Fang or whatever the case may be? And that that logo that they did, that quite frankly bastardized Mr. Miyagi's face. Pat Morita would have loved it. He would have cackled. But, Mr. Miyagi wouldn't have cared, to be honest, either. Like, Mr. Miyagi was so beyond petty stuff like that. He would have thought it was probably funny, too. But I completely understand with Daniel that, Miyagi-Do and Mr. Miyagi, like, they're one and the same for Daniel. And so for him, anything that altered or, in his opinion, lessen the importance of that would just not be okay, right? And then of course for Chosen, it's more because Miyagi-Do meant so much to his family, his uncle, and of course back in Japan, it was something that was very well respected where he came from. So there's a lot of emotions tied to the name Miyagi for them. And of course, understandably, Johnny doesn't have that association, and why would he, right? As far as he was concerned, Miyagi was an old man that he somewhat knew. But anyways, I just really like that they kind of on both sides visited how important the name of these practices were. And as I just mentioned, for Daniel and for Chosen, it's the legacy, it's the relationship that Daniel had with Mr. Miyagi. And it's just this idea of keeping that reverence in place. Whereas with Johnny, that whole conversation that he had with Stingray, Stingray kind of acted as like this, I guess you could say, last vestige of a devil's advocate, right? Because Cobra Kai in of itself is just a name. But for Johnny, it does have almost a similar meaning as it did for Daniel, in the sense of, Kreese was a father figure to Johnny. We know this. We learned about this a lot in season 4 and going into season 5, that Kreese really was there for Johnny in a very crucial time of his life when he didn't have anyone really in his corner and he really needed that father figure. And not all of Cobra Kai was bad for Johnny, right? We talked about that as well. So for him, the name does represent the best years, or at least at that time, the best years of his life, a time of stability, a time when he stopped feeling like a victim and started to feel more like someone in control of his life. And so that is why, the Cobra Kai, then he said Eagle Fang, of course, because he tried to create Eagle Fang, but we see it when they came to the end and they talked together, all the guys talked together. He's like, I realized Eagle Fang was just another Cobra Kai, just without Kreese at the helm per se. But I like that, we heard Stingray talk about how, all the things that Cobra Kai did for him. Like he's saying, Johnny, what he did for him, the way the whole environment Johnny created at Cobra Kai was really helpful for the students that were there, that really, really benefited from him. And he didn't feel like that should go away, and that, Johnny could still create it, that he could just get the name and revive it without Kreese or without Silver and try to start all over again. And I think it was a very tempting offer for Johnny in some respects, because as I said, Cobra Kai for him and the logo and everything, it's going to have a warm place in Johnny's heart for the rest of his life for obvious reasons. But I really love that at the end when he had the conversation with Chosen and Daniel, that he's like, that really isn't my legacy, it's Kreese's. And it's true. Cobra Kai, we learned that last season, that Cobra Kai was always Kreese's dream. That was what he wanted, and he infused it. It's always going to have a tinge of Kreese and his mindset and his thinking in it, because it was his baby, right? So even though for Johnny, there's going to always be some good memories tied to it, as a whole, Cobra Kai will always represent kind of the darkest part of himself and the darkest parts of what his students went through as well. Because I think even for the students, there's people who are loyal to Johnny, and if he split off from Daniel again, of course a handful of students would go with him, and it would just cause the same issue we already have. So I'm really glad that it's shown that Johnny has grown a lot since season 1. Season 1 Johnny would have definitely listened to Stingray and just started up or tried to start up Cobra Kai again. But we see that being around Daniel and being around not just Daniel, but Miguel and what's Miguel's mom's name? I keep forgetting, but all of them, like, they really have affected Johnny, and he doesn't want to go backward. Like, he's in a good place. We saw in that first scene of the episode him with his, are they engaged? Carmen, that's her name. I don't think they're engaged, but him with his girlfriend, she's getting bigger. They're buying baby clothes. His sons, effectively, right? His biological son, his adoptive son, they're living together. They're getting along. Like, they're creating this family that Johnny's always wanted. Because let's be real, that's really what Johnny has always wanted, is to have a family. That's something that a real family, a loving family, something he didn't have growing up. So, he has that there. And now when he goes to the dojo, yeah, him and Daniel still butt heads a bit on the philosophies on how to teach the kids, but he still has a bunch of students who are ready to learn from him, and they're teaching him too, and he's learning from Daniel. And so the point is, I think Johnny really took a minute, and the selfish part of him probably was like, yeah, it'd be great to have Cobra Kai and have my own thing and do my own thing again, but what we have here, what we've created, what I've done now, all these steps we've taken, that is worth more. Like, I don't want to take a step back from that or possibly risk destroying it for my selfish, this one selfish thing that I'll get out of it. So kudos to Johnny. Really, that shows a lot of growth on his part, that he's still going to be him, but he realizes he's got a good thing here, and that what he's building, particularly for the students, and those students, 2 of them in particular being very personal to him, is far more important and beneficial than anything he could do if he went to Cobra Kai on its own again. So I really like that with the adults. That's all kind of paved over. We saw some foreshadowing with Daniel's wife saying that I don't think this stuff with Kreese and Silver is over. Like, it seems a little too wrapped up in a bow. Like, don't get too confident. So I think they're doing a bit of foreshadowing. Like we saw at the end of the episode, Kreese is still a factor for sure. And I wouldn't be surprised if Silver pops up again too, because, Daniel's like, oh, there's so much, he's ruined his reputation. Silver never cared about his reputation. He's rich enough that he doesn't have to keep. People have to realize, people who are very rich, and I think we can assume from what the movies, they didn't talk about it too much in the show, but in the movies, they indicated the fact that Silver's family is crazy rich. So he's rich enough to make these charges go away, and he's definitely rich enough not to care what people think, because people will get over it, right? He's a rich white man. He'll be just fine. But anyway, so there is that. And then to the kids, we see that Miguel and Robbie, now that they're kind of, brothers, or are going to be at some point in some form, they're trying to now get their girlfriends to be on track, because obviously they're all in the same dojo, first of all, but, they want to be able to spend time with each other without it being weird. And as I said, in the episode, people who've watched me, watch these reactions, I'm not a Tori fan. It still hasn't changed. I still feel like she feels entitled to the way that she acted. I'm still not down with that. But again, some characters just never sit right with me. That's just personally. So just know that I'm not a Tori fan. The actress is lovely. I have nothing against her. It's nothing like that. I just don't really like her character. I just feel like she wasn't a character we ever needed to bring into the series personally. But anyway, just so you know, that's why I'm never going to be like, yay, Tori. I'm not really mad about, whether or not people like her or not in the show. But anyways, I get, for the sake of cohesion in the whole dojo and everything, it is better that the 2 of them are not ready to drop, everything and fight each other on, at the drop of a hat. So I'm glad that that's resolved, and that the 2 of them at least are to the point where they can be friendly. If friends, great, sure, whatever. And then the last thing with the students, of course, was Kenny. My boy Kenny, he was really going down the wrong path last season. There were reasons for that, obviously. We saw, and I think the show did a good job of showing the trajectory of why Kenny ended up where he was. And he was just making a lot of bad decisions, but a lot of that was built and festered in a lot of anger. What I think is really sad about Kenny's character is I do think that show should have spent a little bit more time on kind of the source of his anger. Like, they kind of made it all seem like it was because he got bullied, but it was a little bit deeper than that. Like, that's enough of a reason, don't get me wrong. But I think it was so much more than that. Like, last season, was it last season? No, the season before, when we were first introduced to Kenny, they made it clear that he pretty much was on his own all the time. Like, his mom was always working, his dad's deployed, his brother was in juvie. Like, he was kind of left to his own devices. And I think that a lot of that, and this feeling that he had to like maintain this perfect image because his brother went to juvie and all these things on his own, like, they touched on it back in season 4 that it was a lot on him, and I would have loved if they kind of developed that a bit more going into season 5, because he is a great character and a fantastic actor. But I get it. There was a lot going on and they just decided not to really delve into it. But anyway, I think it would have been great because we would have seen a little bit more of why he was so adamantly listening to what Silver said last season and why he had so much aggression in him. And then here in this season, when we see that his brother is out of juvie and back in his life, and we see him having that conversation, because at first, as soon as I saw his brother, I actually wasn't upset. Like, I know some people probably were like, oh, his brother from juvie is going to be trying to, but I never got that from him. Based on the way Kenny was and the way he used to think of his brother, I did not think that his brother was like a bad influence. And we heard about, I can't remember the reason why he got into juvie. Kenny explained it, but it wasn't because he was a bad kid. He was just a kid who, you know, unfortunately had a bad temper. But coming back, I really think that the way they did this whole thing with, actually, let me finish the thought around Kenny. The conversation that Kenny and his brother had at the end, where his brother's like, why were you acting that way at the batting cage? And where's all this vim you've got coming from? And so I really like that he kind of had that heart to heart with him, like that kind of attitude, where you're going, it's going to land you in jail like me. Honestly, though, I have to say, though, when when the brother at the batting cage, when him and Kenny got into it, I was like, sir, you're on probation. Should you be doing this? But anyway, I would have loved to have delved more into that. Like last season, we could have delved more into what got Kenny to this point. But anyway, since we didn't do all that, I guess it did make it easier writing-wise for the show to go ahead and create a situation where after one talk with his brother, he's ready to go back. And of course, obviously, we know that Robbie's been trying to talk to him as well, that he's willing to go back and join the group. But I just think it's a missed opportunity is all I'm saying, because I think that Kenny is a cool character, and I do think the actor absolutely kills it as Kenny. And as I said, I cannot believe how much he's grown. Oh my God, like he was so tiny when the show started. He was shorter than Robbie. He was shorter than, who was it? I can't remember the other actor that he worked with. He was like the tiniest kid, and now the kid's a little, same with the kid who plays Daniel's younger son. Like, my God, it's crazy to watch these kids grow up right in front of our eyes, but that's nuts. But anyhow, so that was kind of nice with the family. And this is why I said, like, the fact that him and his brother had that talk, and clearly his brother knows Kenny better than everyone, and they clearly have a very close bond. That is why I was not happy with the way that they had Robbie try to intervene with that whole situation. As I said, I just don't agree with the way, like, I get when Robbie approached him at the arcade, fine, try to talk to him. But when he left with his brother and they went off to go do something else, and then Robbie continued to essentially at that point harass, I didn't agree with that. I'm sorry. That fight, like, should Kenny's brother have said, let's fight about it? No. Like, both him and Robbie are on probation. That's stupid. But I get it. Like, Robbie, like his brother saying, I don't want to talk. Like, Robbie should respect that, right? He shouldn't assume that Kenny has to talk to him, right? Like, try another day, bro, or something like that. And the fact that he wanted to get in there and try to fight him, I was just like, anyways, I just feel like that wasn't necessary. And then all four of them jumping in there, like, that was just, I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. But anyways, it's done and he's back, so we move. But yeah, overall though, I think it was a cute start. I think that that's probably the only cutesy stuff we're going to get all season. I expect going forward, we're going to get into the nitty gritty because we don't have a lot of episodes. So yeah, I look forward to seeing how we're going to go find out what finding out what Kreese is up to and who these students are. And the girl, I guess she might be our main bad this season as well, since Silver's not there. Although no, it's going to be the three of them, isn't it? Yeah, Silver will probably come back, and we're probably going to see the Korean lady. I can't remember her name right now. And we're going to have to see how it all goes down when we figure out what Kreese has got up his sleeve. So yeah, good episode. Enjoyed it. Hope you guys enjoyed watching along with me. If you did, please show some love. And I will see you in the next one.